Welcome to another edition of Tactical Tips brought to you by the Independent Dealer Podcast and NEO. We've talked about this before, but underwriting is so specific and so must have to run a very good buy here, pay here store. And you underwriting yourself, you're not giving your team the best quality that they can get from the leads you're getting. So make sure that you're using something that helps you do what you need to do and what your team needs to do. And we found that NEO is the best cure for underwriting our loans. So we just finished up the end of the year. We made our goals. Now it's time to implement those goals. And that's what we talk about this week. How do I go about implementing the goals that we've already done? And actually this week's podcast or last week's podcast that dropped Thursday is something you really need to check out. And if you aren't checking out our podcast every week, make sure you do it. Give us a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed. Same as the YouTube channel. So number one, when it comes to implementation is, did we define our goals? And if we did define our goals, what are the time frames of those goals? That's what you have to do. Define the goals, get your time frames, because goals without time frames are nothing really. So make sure you've done both. Number two, super important, budgeting resources. And I'm not just talking about budgeting for hiring a new person or budgeting for getting the equipment you may need to make your goals happen. Budget all your resources, your time, your money, your people. All these things have to be budgeted, because if you're not budgeting your resources, you're just flying at goals willy-nilly, you'll never make it. And you may find out that you don't have the resources you need to get the job done and get to your goals in that certain amount of time. Number three, you gotta assign tasks to your team members. Goals are great. Individual goals are great. When we're talking about a company, we're talking about goals of the company. You'll never reach goals of your company without assigning tasks to other people. Delegate. Delegate so you can set new goals. Delegate so you can manage your team to those goals. You got to assign the tasks. You got to train to those tasks. Number four, list possible risk. Whenever we talk about goals, we're talking about things that we see that can happen. So what are the things that we can see that can delay those goals or derail those goals? COVID, right? We may not think of that as a risk that we were thinking about back then, but it's definitely something you got to think about right now. Rising interest rates, they can derail your goals because they can take some of your budgeted resources away. So you got to make sure that you're looking ahead at the things that are going to hurt productivity. I know right now that if we want to sell a certain amount of cars during tax time, my risk has to be, are we going to be able to get enough inventory to do it? So think about it really well, write them down. Number five, it's really simple. Sometimes you just got to take the first step. And that's what I'm talking about. Take the first step. Jump out into the water. Swim in front of the sharks. Try to ski for the first time. We've got to do these things. We've got to take the first step. And that first step may be delegating to someone. It may be going, hey, I need someone to buy cars for me. It may be trying a different way to buy cars, just staying in your office, buying online. Whatever it is, you've got to take that first step to your goal, because if you don't take the first step, you'll never reach your goals. Hey, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you soon.